Now, turning our focus to another war. Ukraine is today marking 1,000 days since Russia's invasion, or what Russia called its special operation. In a major boost in recent days, outgoing US President Joe Biden giving the green light for American missiles to be used against targets deeper inside Russia. Ukraine says its forces will never surrender, while the Kremlin is also pledging victory and while also threatening to use its nuclear might. So for more, we now welcome the Ukrainian ambassador to Israel, Yevhen Korniychuk. Thank you so much, Ambassador. So appreciate you being here. It's such a grim milestone, Ukraine marking 1,000 days since the start of the war. How are you seeing the new US administration impacting the way this war unfolds, or potentially the way it could end?
First of all, I am grateful that we finally received this decision of the current administration to use the long-range missiles on a Russian territory. And they was used today. In fact, the first stockpiles of the Russian missiles was successfully destroyed this morning.
Right. And
we expect to do more. Otherwise, it was look like, you know, when you have no such an opportunity, you've been fighting with the cuffed hands. You know, if you cannot shoot outside of the Ukrainian territory. Definitely, that would be, to a big extent, the game changer. But coming back to your question, is clearly, I happened to be in Washington last week and the week before, right during the election in New York, and I saw it was calm and quiet in DC at that time, so which show it like, you know, the real election, when the loser call to the winner and say congratulations. So it was very good, and I do hope that we have to look on this election as an opportunity for both of our countries. Basically, Ukrainian President Zelensky is having a pretty good relations with President-elect, and he was one of just a few European leaders that met him when he was in New York last month. So we are looking on this whole development of the situation as a big opportunity for both of our nations. As President Trump has said many times, so he would be looking for the just end of the war in both Middle East, in Israel and in Ukraine, so which is very important sign.
The President-elect also has an interesting relationship with Vladimir Putin, of course. How worried are you about their sometimes warm, sometimes not so warm relationship?
I'm sure that he will try to show his leadership, and as they say, make America great again, meaning that not just the internal issues would be on his focus, but external as well. And definitely Israel is on his heart. And Ukraine is also something that he has been taking much effort to resolve the conflict. As far as I know, a few think tanks in Washington started working already on the possible opportunities for the change and for the end of the bloodshed in both places, in Israel and Ukraine. So I has had the opportunity to meet with all major American Jewish organizations and the lobbyists with the AIPAC, etc. So that's quite an experience, and I think that we've been speaking about interrelations of both conflicts, unfortunately, both in Ukraine and Israel. And the proof is the recent commissioning of the big stockpiles of the Russian fresh weapon in Lebanese territory. Meaning that Russia is clearly involved in this conflict as well, which is very unfortunate. But at the same time, we are having the same enemy, but we also have the same friends, which is the United States and most of the NATO countries.
What then do you make of the suggestion that Israel might want to include Russia in a possible agreement with Lebanon, that Russia would help prevent weapons smuggling from Syria to Hezbollah? We know about the report in the Wall Street Journal suggesting that most of the weapons the IDF found in South Lebanon in the first days of the operation were of Russian origin, as you are alluding to.
Exactly, and this is not just a Lebanese case. If you look on a broader picture, you will see the Houthis in Yemen that been using the Russian missiles as well. So I think, I mean, I'm not the one to criticize your government, but I do believe that Russia is clearly taking the side, and this is not a side of Israel. Unfortunately, they've been in a very deep relations with Iran. Unfortunately, not just on those armament things, because as you know that Iranians gave the licenses to Russians to produce the Iranian drones, and now they've been producing them by hundreds per day in Russia. And they're attacking Ukraine all the time with those drones. So we have the same enemies and we have the same challenges. So we definitely need to coordinate more in order to achieve just peace for both of our nations as quickly as possible.
You made mention of the fact that Moscow has already said that Ukraine has fired 6 American long-range missiles for the first time on Russia's internationally recognized territory. As you said, it was straight after President Joe Biden gave the green light. No wasting of time there. How worried are you, though, about the Russian reaction?
Well, we proved many times that it's no red lines in our situation. When we successfully attack the officially recognized Kursk territory, for example, and that's supposed to be not just to prove that Russia have no such boundaries, but simply to defend our people that living in the proximity to the Russian border. I'm talking about city of Sumy and Kharkiv, which are very close. So that was the reason. So we show many times, so it's not such a thing. You might also mention that today the Russians has approved the new strategy for the use of the nuke, but I'm not sure whether they have the capability to use this nuke. You know, you can see that the last arrangements to try was not very successful. But again, I will rather not provoke, but we are fighting for our freedom and independence, and we prove to be strong until now and show that we are brave people fighting for our nation's democracy and integrity, and that's what we've been doing successfully, and I'm sure we will prevail.
Talking about the threats out of Russia, no doubt you will know that former President Dmitry Medvedev took to X to say Russia's new nuclear doctrine means NATO missiles fired against the country could be deemed an attack by the bloc on Russia, and Russia could retaliate against Kyiv and key NATO facilities wherever they're located. That means, his words, World War III. Your response?
Well, once again, we are not the one that started this conflict. And we really want to finish it as fast as possible because our people are dying every single day on the front line. Forget about Russians. I wouldn't care much, you know, how many soldiers have they lost. I mean, we do care about our own people, and I'm sure that Israelis do the same. So we are not the one that starts, and we want to stop this bloodshed as quickly as possible because the people is our major, you know, concern is about our people's life.
And as everyone can imagine, of course, each country dealing with its security concerns. Israel obviously focused on the war here, but what can you tell us briefly about cooperation between the Israeli and Ukrainian governments at this juncture?
Well, I should say that after the October 7th, the cooperation became much faster and stronger. And some Israeli experts admit our superb expertise with the drones and anti-drone system, which is clearly greater than the Israel has had before this October 7th. So I should say that we've been doing a lot in order to strengthen our cooperation, and definitely we could do more, especially at the wartime. I am never satisfied with what we're receiving now, or what kind of cooperation is there, because I think we can do more, even now. But definitely we are in a much better position now than we used to be, unfortunately, before the war in Israel has started.
Challenges remain, no doubt about it, on all fronts. Ukrainian Ambassador to Israel, Yevhen Korniychuk, we so appreciate you being here in studio. Thank you very much for being with us on I-24 News.